This is the biggest improvement you can make to your gameplay to start getting incredible frags in Valorant, or any game like it for that matter. As more and more new players start to play Valorant, crosshair placement is the biggest and most common mistake I have seen by far. Fortunately, it's easily rectified, and that's what I'm here to help you with today. You've probably heard the term crosshair placement from someone, somewhere. But maybe they didn't give you the full explanation, or maybe you want some tips on how to form this good habit quickly. Either way, you've come to the right place. Hello everyone, I'm Atchax, and this is how to improve your crosshair placement. The definition of crosshair placement is simple enough. It's where your crosshair is on your screen. This is where most players put their crosshair automatically. And this is where players with good aim, such as pros, usually put their crosshair. Why does where your crosshair is matter? Good question. A gunfight in Valorant is fundamentally a competition between how long it takes for your opponent to eliminate you versus how long it takes you to eliminate them. Whoever is faster wins and survives. Crosshair placement is going to improve that speed by the largest margin compared to other adjustments, which is why it is so important you make the transition to good crosshair placement. If your crosshair placement is down here, which is not pre-aimed for anything, you have to move up to the general area of your target, and then you have to actually aim on them, which takes a long time and will lose the gunfights you had the raw talent or positioning to win. Something I see in players who don't have good crosshair placement is excellent point-and-click aim, because you've adapted very well to looking at the ground, and then flicking up to find targets. Just imagine if you could combine this talent with good crosshair placement. You could be so much faster to eliminate your opponents, which means that you will win more gunfights, which means you will win more rounds, which means you will win more games. How do you decide where to put your crosshair? You want to put it as close as you can to your target. If you are going for a headshot, and you almost always should be, you aim about right here at head level. When you are running around the map, you should always have your crosshair here in case you are surprised by a flanker or something like that. If you are aiming for a body shot, if for instance you know an enemy is a one shot to the body, then aim right about here. Never aim for the legs, as you will do less damage and they are a smaller target than the body. Now, here is the most common mistake players make when they don't get a full explanation of crosshair placement. They put their crosshair right here. This is an excellent idea and shows understanding of the concept, but it usually doesn't work in practice. We have to take reaction time into account. Part of the time it takes you to eliminate another player is noticing them, which is called reaction time. Your crosshair placement should account for your personal reaction time, which is different for every player. The vast majority of players will not immediately notice an opposing player and should move their crosshair to the side to account for this. You want your crosshair to be closest to your target when you register them, not when they appear on your screen. Learning your individual reaction time crosshair placement can take a long time, but I do have a tip later in the video to help you with that. Many players find they understand what they have to do, but run into difficulty trying to remember to do it in practice. This is because bad crosshair placement is a habit, but it can be broken and replaced with good crosshair placement. I know it took me a week or so to learn good crosshair placement, but it definitely didn't have to be that long if I knew some of these tips I'm about to share with you. Tip number 1 is to line up every angle before peeking it. Before you peek, pause. Line up your crosshair, then peek. This will force you to make regular checks on your crosshair placement, which should help you develop good habits rather quickly. This is not a situation where you have bad crosshair placement when you aren't peeking, but it is a good reminder and it's often enough to be thoroughly reinforced quickly. Tip number 2 is to check head level right before the buy phase ends on a nearby teammate. This will remind you where head height is and really has no risk, because at the moment, friendly fire with weapons isn't a thing, and checking before the round won't distract you during the round. Tip number 3 is to trace head height constantly. This is mostly for people who are experienced gamers who have had bad crosshair placement for a while. As you are moving around the map, knife or otherwise, make small sweeping left to right motions constantly to remind yourself to keep your crosshair there. One reason you may be forgetting good crosshair placement is because you aren't thinking about it all the time. This will force you to think about it, and it should be a conscious action, not a subconscious habit. I always imagine that I'm tracking a strafing target when I do this, and I would recommend this mentality to any of us who are entrenched in our habits but also want to learn good crosshair placement quickly. Number 4 is for reaction time crosshair placement. This really helped me when I was learning crosshair placement for CSGO. Set bots to strafe. Then, line up your crosshair where you think your crosshair placement should be and click as soon as you notice the bot moving. If you are too fast, try aiming closer. If you are a bit slow, try aiming farther away. This will help you get a pretty good idea of where your individual crosshair placement should be. I hope these tips helped you out. Let me know which one was the most helpful. If you found value in this video, make sure to share it with friends and other players who haven't made the transition to good crosshair placement like you have. The sooner this issue is rectified for everyone, the better off the community will be, and it'll probably make you win more games if your team all know good crosshair placement. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Best of luck everyone, and I will see you next time.